I just said it was a long Double clapping, Rob.
So hello, Chris.
Hello, Rob. How are you? I'm very good.
On this fine, chilly day.
Super duper. Got my hand sanitizer. Got my phone to kind of remind me of
We
stuff.
got our 2 meters here.
2 meters, I think, is probably, don't want to mess about, but probably here. And we haven't kissed or hugged or
Fist bumped.
Fist. What do we do? My friend did this.
You do that Vulcan thing or whatever?
Vulcan thing, but also this I think is quite good.
That's a good one. I've heard about foot tapping too.
Foot tapping, so the foot tapping. I actually like the foot tapping.
You wouldn't want to tap my feet though after coming off the farm.
No, it's a problem. Dirty poo feet, and also my balance isn't fantastic. So whenever I go to do it, I do it kind of ungainly. And again today I've gone for thin skater, same as that. Well, people might actually think that we're just recording them straight after.
One after the other, but not really, because it's the news, and the news is new. That's why it has that name.
But we could be prophetic. We could just be
looking back into history, in case anybody didn't watch the last one last week.
Oh my God, we're like Bill and Ted.
Oh my God, it's all confusing. So welcome to the news.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about some stuff, and Chris, I'll let you start.
No, Rob, I'll let you start.
Well,
because you know,
okay, so the first
really did your work.
So the first thing that's happened is obviously the coronavirus has gotten worse and worse, and more things are canceling, and now they've canceled South by Southwest, they've canceled the
first time in 34 years. 34.
They've canceled the Japan photo show, they've canceled the big telecom mobile phone show, and they've canceled NAB, which is the huge show in Vegas for the spring. So, yeah.
They're anticipating, obviously.
Heavy. Yeah.
Heavy
stuff.
We can't say death, obviously. It's not beat type of podcast.
No.
We don't say death.
But yeah, so everybody be well. And moving on to the next subject.
It started off, that'll probably be edited out, I would imagine. Don't say death, Chris. Don't say death. Don't say no death. Well, we could use a code word, because we have to talk about maybe next week. Maybe next week it'll just be one of us.
CV. The CV.
Imagine it's just me. What a boring, non-technical event that would be.
So we're going to move now.
Okay.
From talking about the virus.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Canon, which in a curious move
is a virus.
Well, for some strange reason, there's a rumor out there that Canon is going to discontinue the S5S, the 5DS, the 50 megapixel camera.
Studio based.
Well, yeah, but a lot of landscape people and stuff use it too.
Okay.
But they're going to start making, supposedly, the rumor is 150 megapixel.
It's not big enough for me, Rob.
150 megapixel mirrorless camera.
It's a nuclear bomb of cameras, isn't it?
That just seems so absurd.
No, well, if you think on it, if you're shooting 150 megs and you're doing a sport, you're doing sports, and you've got 20 frames a second, sure, it's not
if you can get 20 frames a second out of a 150 megapixel camera, I highly doubt that.
Fine. But what you could do, I think, is whenever you shoot those 20 frames, if you have a small group of twigs, and you put the camera down, if there's not nice matches, no.
Because that sensor is going to be so hot and so noisy.
But maybe they've come up with some. Maybe there's been some monumental leap in technology that Sony and stuff aren't aware of, that they are.
150 megapixels. That's
a lot.
That's insane. And if just on the outside chance, I know it's not going to happen, but if that camera could record full frame video, what is that? I can't do the math right now, but
I could do it.
Is that 16K camera?
Yeah, that's okay, isn't it? It just means you have to pluck your nose.
I mean, worst case, you could do time lapses. 150 megapixel time lapses would be whatever. Like, let's say it's a 16K. Again, I haven't done the math, but
there will be somebody who'll do the math, and feel free.
That would be an amazing time lapse, but nothing could reproduce it. You could never view it in full resolution.
But not today. But maybe in 25 years. Yeah. Maybe they're thinking. My chair's squeaking, by the way, in case you wonder what I'm
in
doing.
5 years.
Listen, will you pick that up?
Yes.
You've given me a squeaky chair.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to change the chair at some point.
So the next, you do one. Go ahead, you give me a story.
Okay.
Give me a story.
Okay, I'm going to go. Now you see how well prepared I am. Oh no, where are we? This is grand because you can edit this all. You can edit.
No, I'm not editing anything. We're just rolling.
Oh, sugar
rolling.
lumps. Okay.
So Leica has come out.
Don't do it,
They've
Rob.
released their new camera, the S3, which has 15 stops of dynamic range. It's supposedly, quote, a medium format camera.
Nice.
It's a little bit larger physically than a 35 millimeter camera.
Still medium
but
format.
the sensor is only 45 millimeters by 30 millimeters. So if you think back to old film days when 645, it's not actually 645, it's not 60 by 45 millimeters, but it's half the size of the old size medium format. But they're calling it medium format. So now I guess medium format is anything that's larger than 35 millimeter.
I would say litigation-wise, you're probably right.
Am I suing?
No, but I would say they probably, if you say allegedly, you could maybe start using allegedly. Maybe
Well, I
like
should
that.
sue them over the price.
But
$19,000.
you know what, Rob? I was thinking this the other day, and that's only 8 of my Shackleton coats. Think on that. Think on that. If you have a
You could have
wardrobe,
8 coats lined up there, or you could have one little tiny
one little
Leica.
tiny sensor, just looking at you. In fact, and I've looked at the camera. I remember last week looking at the camera, looked quite dramatic. Whenever I did this, I'm going to do it again, kind of Fleabag moments, where I'm going to look at the camera and say that if Leica want to send a camera,
Body to you, yeah.
and if Shackleton
And a
want-
lens.
and a lens,
It'd be handy.
well, it would be handy enough because without it, we would just be
Pinhole
pinhole
Leica.
Quite nice. We could play. But if they want to send something that we can, why wouldn't they?
sure,
We're not begging for it.
We can test
But
it.
also, Shackleton want to send more than one coat because I'm sure they're probably mulling it over at the minute. If they want to send those 8 coats, and we can do a kind of a test to see which we get more pleasure out of.
How many coats you can put on at once?
Jesus, we could put a small, medium, large, and extra large. How many is that? That's 4 anyway. Between the two of us, that's 8 coats.
There you go. Where did that logic come from?
I don't know. I flew out on a limb. What I'm trying to do is put a distance between you asking me to do my next story because I haven't really done my homework. I've done bits of homework and I've just deleted one of my pieces from. Oh, I can't believe you're not editing this. Here we are. No, we're okay. I'm back.
You had an Iranian photographer story, didn't you?
I did.
So do I.
You do?
It's a small world.
That's last week. I know why you did that. Because last week I said I was going to bring stuff from other
All around the
places,
world.
and I knew. I'm back and said to my wife Leah that this was the case. Well, she watched it. We watched it 3 times in bed because I'm so photogenic. And she said, "I bet Rob comes back with something better." This is what she said. I think it was at like 1 a.m. It made me feel deflated. So what I did, I went on.
And that's your supportive wife?
I went on straight away. Yeah, Jesus, my supportive wife. I went on straight away and I hunted for something. So I left the field and I couldn't find it. So I'm here. Well, the viewers, of course, all 5 of them will be there, or maybe 3, maybe down. We'll be able to judge. This is what we need to do. We need to be more competitive.
No, I'm not competitive. No. Go ahead. Tell me the story.
Well, this isn't.
Tell me the story.
I'm going to tell you about the Iranian thing in a while because I want to keep people waiting. What I do want to look at is American Suburb X. If anybody that follows Facebook,
Say that again slowly for all our English-speaking people.
American Suburb X.
American Suburb X, which is a website, and is it still a printed magazine?
I'm not sure. I've never got the printed magazine. I've certainly got stuff, but not a
So
magazine.
it's American Suburb X.
Yes, and it's probably if I had to go on a desert island,
With one magazine, it would be it.
100%.
Cool.
It's just, for me, the writing is superb, the stuff they cover is superb, it's always just on the button. It's a fantastic read.
Great.
I share it all the time on Facebook, and I'm looking at Jack Latham's interview, which is Conspiracy a Medium? Now, I'll not go into it too much,
Okay.
because it would take us let's see how long it would
Well, you
take
have
us.
35 seconds.
How many swipes here at this? I've done.
That's a big story.
That's 10.
That's
That's 10
yes,
swipes. So
yes.
we're not going into it. But for people who don't know Jack's work, it is. Let me just go back and find out. I know he's from Newport. Well, he's not from Newport, but he studied in Newport. I've seen his work lots. I'm a big fan. But this is. I'll give you a gist. What the crack is.
Please do.
Just a gist, okay? The case it focuses on, so 6 innocent young people all suffer memory distrust syndrome. Are you with me already? Mm-hmm. You're probably following. Due to coercion by the police. No, I won't go into too much, but essentially this interview has been taken over 5 months. There's going to be a podcast on it, I believe, from Brad soon. I think it says soon enough, which I'm really looking forward to see.
Sorry?
Brad is the editor of the...
American Suburb X.
Yeah, so you have Brad, I know, Brad will probably chastise me. I should put his name into a pronunciator, as I always do, because anybody doesn't know I have this, I don't want to talk about my dyslexia.
No, go ahead.
Because Rob gets really antsy about this, but it means I'm not really good at pronunciation sometimes. So Brad Furuhelm? I'm really bad at that. But anyway, it's a conversational piece, so questions, answer.
So the gist of the story is
about
these 6 innocent kids who are manipulated.
Well, it kind of goes in, okay, what we get is, right, Brad starts with the book Parliament of Owls, okay, from Here Press.
Parliament of Owls.
It's beautiful. We'll look at it later. You've undertaken a case study of the culture surrounding conspiracy theorists. A great time indeed to be talking about this sort of stuff. And Infowars alternative media stalwart Alex Jones by placing the globalist playground of Bohemia Grove under scrutiny.
Wow. What's your mic? Cool.
Literally. So heavy-ish.
Yeah. Pretty.
But news, because I think it's...
But in a visual format. It would be interesting to see.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You have to send me the link.
Black and white. All my stuff today is...
Black and white stories?
Black and white stories.
I'm finishing all your sentences.
I like it. It's kind of, do you think it's like twins?
No.
Like, it is Bill and Ted. That's not. Now, let's hear some Iranian stuff. You've researched the life out of this. Mine's stuff.
No, I haven't researched the life out of it. I came across the photographs because they're kind of reminiscent of my series on the Salton Sea.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah. So this Iranian photographer, there's this huge lake in Iran. It's the sixth largest body of salt water.
It's an uncomfortable story you're about to tell. In a sense.
It's kind of plagiarism.
Yeah.
So this Iranian photographer, Iranian photographer, she's been photographing this lake as it goes down and down and down and everything surrounding the lake for years.
Due to environmental...
Yeah, let me give you her name here. Her name is Solmaz Daryani. And yeah, she's been photographing this for years, and it came to her attention that another photographer, this German photographer named Maximilian Mann, who's up for the environmental category in this year's World Press Photo.
Wow, Maximilian.
His photographs are uncannily similar to hers.
Allegedly.
Just, viewpoint-wise, like perspective-wise, there's a boat at the end of a dock, and she shot it this way in 2014, and he shot it almost identically in 2016.
Do you think that because it's a salt lake, do you think...
He has seen her work. He's familiar with her work. Yeah. He's familiar with a lot of other Iranian photographers' work in the area. Mm-hmm. He's looked at everybody's, but for some reason, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, his work is very mimicking of hers.
Is it more than one image? Is it more than two images?
It's lots.
It's a body of work?
Yeah, it's lots of images.
It's probably not, in fairness, doing it out of the goodness of his heart.
No, and supposedly, they've met in the past.
Oh, really?
Yes, just at a photo show or something, we're introduced to each other and stuff. But I don't know, it just seems a little too coincidental.
I'm going to use the word sneaky.
I don't want to
get sued.
Yeah, I just, let the guy ride out and see where it all goes. But
Well, these things.
I mean, credit where credit's due. Her stuff is beautiful. Like both of theirs.
But is it
beautiful stuff?
Black and white color?
It's color.
And his stuff's color?
They're both color, yeah.
Viewpoint, his tripod, the salt has never, he's put the tripod down.
And probably in the same spots.
The marks are there, he's come along, allegedly, and maybe put, that's not.
I mean, there's a few images that are like that boat one, which are very, very, very similar.
Yeah.
Then there's some that just happen to have the same subject matter within the frame, but they're positioned differently. Okay. But it's the same subject matter. So there's fishermen on the edge of the lake, and they're scattered this way, and hers are scattered that way.
Because it's a different day, but it contains fishermen.
Yeah, it contains fishermen.
But these things, like sometimes people have to be called out. I'm not saying necessarily in this, so I haven't seen the work. I'll go home and look at it. Because there'll be a link.
There'll be a link in the description.
People can go and look at it. But I think this stuff, there is stuff has to be called out. You know, Tom Seymour, a writer for, I don't know if he's still doing stuff in the British Journal of Photography, I'm sure. You know, he does lots of great writing for photography.
Yeah.
Called out, I'll actually talk about it next week because it's a really interesting story, but called out, as did Brad actually, the same story. Sometimes people have to be called out. It's a fact. You can't, and especially if you're doing, that's okay if you're working at kind of a lower level.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's one thing I should interject here. This project that Maximilian did was his final year student project.
Okay.
So he was actually if that makes a difference.
God, it might make a difference.
He was a student at the time when he was producing this work.
Ultimately, it doesn't. If he's up for an environment, if you're up for a big prize, unless you're acknowledging, unless you're saying my work is influenced greatly by.
I don't think he said that.
Well, then you're into kind of a, what, let's think of this, right? This is, we do like to be humorous on this, at least I do. Whenever Father Ted are in the Eurovision Song Contest, you haven't seen this one, no? And
I can't remember it, but.
The song, okay, but they hear some random song that was, I don't know, had been used in a lift somewhere. No, it hadn't been used in a lift. They'd heard this random song and they kind of stole it and made a song for the Eurovision Song Contest. They're in the lift going up to perform, and it's been played in the lift.
Oops.
Yeah, it kind of feels, if you are going to rip off somebody's work, then you maybe better doing it on a different planet, because it's always going to haunt you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you always need to think, there's nothing original anymore. There's always that saying, right? Nothing is original anymore. Yeah. There is original things. There are usually takes on other things, but there is a factor of originality to most stuff.
I remember Oliver Jeffers, this isn't photography thing, but of course it'll fit in, said to me when I was in university, that good design is borrowed, great design is stolen. Kind of resonated with me because, you can look at that from loads of different angles, but essentially nothing is original. Do you know what I mean? Taking something, making new work out of it. But that's different than if you see work that is really, it works for you in a certain sense, and then you're thinking this Iranian photographer, and this guy's from where?
Germany.
From Germany, so you have there's all sorts of stuff ethically.
Well, I mean, she's the local, she's the native. This is her land. Yeah. This might be, her neighborhood, totally like her neighborhood. Whereas the German photographer, the student, has flown in and is covering off something that somebody's already done.
I think I'm uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
And it's another world press thing too. And they've been hampered by controversy in the past.
So then, you'd think that there would be checks done. You'd think there would be some sort of questionnaire.
Yeah.
Does this work fall under?
I mean, there's problems before with, wasn't there RAW files and stuff and retouching of images, and that's when they went to the RAWs and.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. But this stuff.
Oh, there was that beautiful image of the family carrying the coffin down the alleyway or something. And he had toned it differently. Anyways, it's all.
But I think these are interesting conversations because what will happen from this? That next year you'd like to think there'll be some sort of
Guidelines.
guidelines.
More stringent guidelines.
But he hasn't won it.
Nope.
For Maximilian. Did he think he'd get away with it? Allegedly, if there was something to get away with. Or Max. I'm going to look him up on Instagram. Is it Instagram, do you think?
Probably. Maximilian Mann.
I won't do it.
What a great name.
It's a great...
It's a James Bond villain.
M-A-N-N?
Yeah, like Michael Mann.
Sally Man.
My goodness.
Hold on.
It's very windy today, so sorry about the noise.
It certainly
What's
Rob.
your next story?
It's beautiful. The viewer will not know, they will have no idea of what's just went on. The panic.
It got windy. It got really
it got
windy.
We had to shut down. It's not that I couldn't remember what I was talking about.
No, it was just really windy.
And other stuff. Okay, my next story is about a person that I don't know and don't consider to be a dear friend, Claire Gallagher. You thought I was going Iran, didn't you? You thought I had.
You got whiplash there.
You thought I had close friends. Okay, so the second shift. Okay, everything in me wants to ridicule. Okay, wants to make fun of. Even though there's something in this that was give me an ounce of opportunity to do that, I would love to do it.
Okay.
Okay, but I can't.
You like it?
It's very upsetting. I love it.
Do you?
I love it. And apart from knowing Claire,
I like it already.
Yeah, isn't it nice? Yeah. Isn't it?
Different size pages.
Put together really well by Sort in Belfast.
Oh yeah.
So it's local. It's paperweight's nice. We talk just about don't talk about what's in it just yet, but we talk about just how it's put together. You know, it's beautiful.
Great.
It's a thing of beauty. I first looked at it whenever I was heavily intoxicated in Claire's house. Not by myself, I should say, because obviously there was other people there. Mm-hmm. I don't want to allude to any sort of mysterious stories. And I remember thinking it was brilliant. I remember hoping it wasn't brilliant. I always err on being Northern Irish. I always err on I hope something.
Oh, come on, Chris. You got to be better than that.
No, I know. I have to. Well, that's why I battle it on a minute-by-minute basis, Rob. We chatted about something that was interesting at the sleeve had been printed too dark, and I really wanted a copy with the dark sleeve because I thought it'd be more important in like 10 years. But they were binned. I did think of going around to Claire's house and going through the bins and having a go. But let me read the opening thing so we can get a gist. I'm not going to go through loads of stuff on it, but essentially it's second shift, and I'll read this as best I can.
Is it introduction or?
Yeah, just we think about what the second shift is. Second shift. This is Claire's PhD project, which she's just completed. The second shift is a term given to the hidden shift of housework and childcare, primarily carried out by women on top of their paid employment. Okay,
yeah.
It's a physical, mental, and emotional labour which demands effort, skill, and time, but is unpaid, unaccounted for, unequally distributed, and largely unrecognised. Heavy enough subject. Hidden in plain sight and veiled by familiarity and insignificance. Now, that doesn't sound. It sounds. For me, that's. It's kind of. We know these things go on. We know the crack, all that stuff. Going back and doing it. But whenever you start going through the book, and, when you start reading, these inserts for me are really good because I'm a guy. I'm not very bright. I'm aware of what goes on, but whenever you see it put in front of you, kind of in this, the way Claire's put it together, it's beautiful. I hate housework. This is Joan Rivers saying this. I hate housework. You make the beds, you do the dishes, and 6 months later you have to start all over again. Okay, and I kind of, if you hear Claire talking about the work, you'll understand why that is kind of important. Claire launched the book in Belfast Exposed, obviously in Belfast, in Ireland, and she told a really nice story about somebody had said to her about, because the book's full of kind of block sinks, you know, stuff that, you know, most people
Households.
it exists for all of us, but we wouldn't probably show. You know, it's not stuff we hide. But somebody asked about, you know, was she brought up like this? And basically she said that her mum, whenever visitors were coming, would set the Hoover out, and I hope I'm getting this right, would set the Hoover out, and then whenever the people would come to the door, she would say, "Oh, you've just caught me in the middle of cleaning." But there was no cleaning going on. It was just set there to take the bad look of things. So Claire did loads of tons of research. Obviously, it's a PhD piece. It's I just think it's beautiful. I think it's beautifully put together. I think it's really thought provoking for me as a guy, and it's I don't know. Like I go on about it. You know, Claire's a friend, so I have to be careful. I love it. I don't want to go on too much about it. I'm trying to think of something I don't like about it. I don't like its weight. I don't like the weight of it. Honestly.
Was it too small?
Don't like it. I think I've really thought the whole thing. It's beautiful. Okay, next story is about Sharin Nishat. I think I'm getting that right. Which is a story from the BJP Online. Okay, and it's a long read. I like this. Whenever they tell me how long, what the crack is, how long is it going to take me?
Yeah.
A long read. Do you know what I'm saying? That's something I go to bed with. You know, I mean, it's not something I try and do whenever I'm in the house with the kids. So it's Unraveling the American Dream, and it is published on 25th of February 2020, so it's kind of, we're there. And I'm going to read this because I'm really bad at remembering stuff. In her latest body of work, the Iranian artist turns her lens to America, her host country, offering a fantastical response to the tumult of the contemporary moment. Okay, now, it's not really a long read, in fairness. Maybe I should. No, I won't. There'll be a link down
in the description.
To go and see. These are things that take my fancy. Again, it's work, black and white.
Portraits.
Yeah, really nice portraits. Now, this won't be picked up, but beautiful.
Nice, good contrast.
You see, whenever this on music played, that's the power I have. I can put something like this, and then a bit of music can happen in the background. It's worth reading. It's nicely written. It's written by, and again, I have to excuse my pronunciation.
And what's the website on that again?
BJP Online. Okay, so we know we get some.
It's the British Journal of Photography.
British Journal of Photography. We get some lovely stuff. Who Tom Seymour? I don't know if Tom still writes for the. I think he does. Pieces. So it's written by Hannah Abel Hirsch, and published on the 25th of 2020, and it just gives you a nice breakdown of the work and also past work. And I think this is kind of the stuff that I enjoy. I love going in to artists that I've already heard of, but haven't quite touched my eyes there and haven't done my hands. It's the times we live in, isn't it? That could be the moment.
It's good. Great.
If I'm not here next week, okay, I'll just. But anyway,
there's nothing in here. Everything's good.
But we touched earlier on. You weren't aware. You weren't aware for the touching, Rob, and I did touch for the first time, which for me was a big moment. I know Rob won't care about this. He's not tactile. I am. But I love going in whenever I'm reading about artists and going through work I know, but then going into links and kind of going off, and I kind of we end up getting stuff that's interesting that you haven't previously seen. I haven't seen this work, so it's nice to go in and have a delve, and then go through other works and see where it takes you.
Great.
Half an hour's trip. It's been very serious this week. We've missed the coat. I need to talk more about the coat. I need to talk more about the Shackleton coat. I actually went back and looked at more of it online. I looked at the pockets in particular.
Did you look at, okay, we're going to go back. If you haven't seen our first episode, this is our second. The first episode, Chris went on and on and on about a coat. A big woolly coat, a big winter coat.
£1,900.
But they have other models.
Yeah.
That are much cheaper.
Much cheaper.
Much cheaper.
I did feel
And I'm not even going to say they're affordable.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You've already done it.
No, I know, but I want to do it now. I'm going to show everyone how to do it.
You got to do it for happy birthday?
I don't do happy birthday, I do Hare Krishna. I feel more spiritual. Think of that, Hare Krishna.
I just put my hands into boiling hot acid.
I don't doubt that you're not real, Rob. Lately I do talk about it a lot, about how you could just be an automaton, a very smart automaton, sent from Canada by whatever his name is. What's his name? Trudeau?
Yeah, Trudeau.
Okay, Trudeau. So I'll put that there. Not that I don't want to I don't want to advertise any products. But if they do want to
So
sell
anyways,
stuff.
the Shackleton coat,
Yes.
they have much
Cheaper.
more affordable coats.
£600.
Well, not even
600.
affordable. They're still pretty out there in pricing.
But it is waterproof. I actually was, because I was very tongue-in-cheek last week about it. I'm feeling slightly guilty for the Shackleton family. I thought,
What, are they getting any money out of it?
Well, I have no idea.
Probably not.
Probably
has
not.
nothing to do with them.
Because it's,
And what's the guy, what's the photographer's name? Hurley?
Yeah.
He's got nothing in
he's
it
good
either.
on. It's just clever marketing.
Well, yeah. If that's clever. It's a coat.
Let's not be negative. I want the
negative,
coat.
I'm
I want the
negative.
coat.
It's a beautiful coat.
It's a beautiful coat.
It's out of my price range
The
for what it
blue
is.
coat is sick. The cheaper one you're talking about is 600, but it's not waterproof. But it does look nice. It's like a much nicer
Shelf.
version of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. But they do other stuff. Bottle openers, hats, scarves. I think
Mugs,
mug.
thermoses.
Do they do mugs?
Do they have bumper stickers?
No, they should. They're missing out.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to design one today whenever I go home.
They got to get that Red Bull marketing school happening.
I'm going to talk to them. What they do have is beautiful photography. Have you been on? You did go on, look, because they have cheaper
I looked
coats.
at it, yeah.
A host of stuff.
Great.
Great.
So next week,
Next week, even more exciting, Rob. Next week, I'm going to go back over Claire's book and and Shackleton. I've only got 4 tricks in my arsenal.
no, next week we'll have a whole new.
If we're still here, Rob. This is important to mention.
The wind blows us away.
If the wind blows away or the virus doesn't get us, because in 20 years, whenever people are looking back at this, and it's like the Beatles,
This is like a time capsule for them.
yeah, they're going to look back. They're going
A
to
little slice of
what
2020.
What happened? I might not be 12 days, beginning to end, with the virus. I don't like.
Okay.
But listen, this is important. Rob could be doing this by himself, or indeed I could be doing it by myself. I'm slightly heavier, and they say it does affect fat people more than.
Does it?
Yeah, that's the big problem in America. Not that I'm calling America fat, but there you go. You are what you are.
All right. So next week, thank you, everybody.
We can't shake hands. Let's do this.